Deep in the heart of the Sahara Desert, a treasure far more valuable than gold lay hidden in plain sight for centuries. This was not a hoard of jewels or a king's ransom, but an unparalleled library of knowledge, a beacon of scholarship that rivaled the legendary Library of Alexandria. For generations, the Western world dismissed Timbuktu as a mere myth, a distant, almost fantastical place synonymous with the ends of the earth. Yet, the truth was never a myth. It was simply concealed, meticulously guarded within wooden chests, buried beneath earthen floors, and protected within the mud brick homes of its devoted inhabitants. Within these unassuming dwellings resided a vast collection of written wisdom, a profound intellectual heritage that fundamentally reshapes our understanding of human history and African civilization. This is the compelling narrative of a desperate race against time, a monumental effort to safeguard this invaluable knowledge before it vanished forever. This is the definitive story of Timbuktu, the city of hidden wisdom, a testament to intellectual resilience and cultural preservation. When the name Timbuktu echoes through history, what image does it conjure in the minds of scholars and researchers? Is it a shimmering mirage, a fabled golden city shimmering beyond the horizon, a testament to untold riches? For centuries, European explorers and cartographers envisioned it precisely this way, a fantastical realm of immense wealth. Driven by these alluring legends, adventurers relentlessly pursued its elusive location, dreaming of streets paved with gold and markets overflowing with precious commodities. However, the true treasure of Timbuktu was never material wealth. It was, unequivocally, knowledge itself. Far from being an isolated outpost, Timbuktu flourished as a vibrant crossroads, a dynamic nexus where the salt caravans from the north converged with gold traders from the south. Its bustling markets teemed with merchants, scholars, and pilgrims, fostering an unparalleled exchange of goods and, more importantly, ideas. Intellectual currents flowed through its labyrinthine streets as freely and powerfully as the Niger River itself. For far too long, the rich oral traditions of Africa were erroneously dismissed as primitive or lacking in sophistication by external observers. Yet, Timbuktu held irrefutable proof, meticulously inscribed in ink, that the continent harbored its own powerful, sophisticated centers of scholarship, scientific inquiry, and profound philosophical thought. The enduring myth of Timbuktu was its supposed material wealth, its profound and undeniable reality was its unparalleled intellectual wisdom. Timbuktu's intellectual golden age commenced in the 13th century, flourishing under the expansive and influential Mali Empire. Its strategic control over the trans-Saharan trade routes, particularly in salt and gold, generated immense wealth. This prosperity, crucially, was not merely hoarded but strategically invested in something far greater and more enduring, education and intellectual development. A pivotal moment occurred in 1324 when Emperor Mansa Musa embarked on his legendary pilgrimage to Mecca. His return journey was transformative. He brought back not only skilled architects and artists but also a retinue of esteemed scholars and jurists from across the Islamic world. This influx of intellectual capital profoundly reshaped Timbuktu, elevating it into a preeminent center of learning that would radiate influence for centuries. Under the successive reigns of the Mali and later the formidable Songhai Empire, the University of Sankoré rose to unparalleled prominence. This was not a singular, monolithic institution but rather a decentralized network comprising hundreds of interconnected schools, madrasas, and private libraries. Thousands of students from across Africa and beyond flocked to Timbuktu, immersing themselves in rigorous studies spanning theology, astronomy, Islamic law, fiqh, medicine, mathematics, philosophy, and rhetoric. The burgeoning intellectual activity fueled an insatiable demand for books. Book trade became so lucrative and central to the city's economy that the renowned traveler Leo Africanus famously observed, "In Timbuktu, books are more precious than any other merchandise." Scribes meticulously copied and illuminated texts from across the vast Islamic world, while local scholars simultaneously produced original works of profound insight. They meticulously mapped celestial bodies, documented medicinal properties of desert flora, and engaged in sophisticated discourse on ethics, governance, and jurisprudence. By the 1500s, Timbuktu was home to an estimated 400,000 to 700,000 manuscripts, establishing it as one of the greatest and most extensive libraries in the entire medieval world. However, even the most brilliant golden ages are ultimately finite. In 1591, a formidable Moroccan army, equipped with advanced muskets and driven by an insatiable desire for control over the trans-Saharan trade routes, launched a devastating invasion across the Sahara. The once mighty Songhai Empire, weakened by internal strife, crumbled under the assault. Timbuktu was brutally conquered. Its intellectual elite, scholars, imams, and jurists, were either executed, exiled, or forcibly relocated to Morocco. Its invaluable libraries were plundered, their contents scattered or destroyed. Yet, even as the city endured the ravages of war and occupation, its resilient people steadfastly refused to surrender their most cherished treasure, their knowledge. They understood a profound truth: a city can be conquered, its physical structures razed, but knowledge, if carefully protected, can endure. Families, driven by an unwavering commitment to their heritage, meticulously gathered their precious manuscripts, thousands upon thousands of pages of accumulated wisdom, and concealed them with extraordinary ingenuity. They sealed these fragile documents in sturdy wooden chests, buried them beneath the floors of their homes, and ingeniously hid them within the very walls of their mud-brick dwellings. With each act of concealment, they made a solemn vow to their descendants: protect these books. They are not merely ink on paper, they are the very essence of who we are, our history, our identity, our future. For centuries, through successive waves of invasion, the brutal era of colonial rule, and numerous conflicts, these manuscripts miraculously endured. They remained hidden in plain sight, vigilantly guarded by generations who understood that their collective identity, their intellectual legacy, and their spiritual fortitude were inextricably bound to those sacred pages. The true, unsung heroes of Timbuktu's extraordinary story were not powerful kings or conquering generals, but rather the countless generations of dedicated guardians. Imagine a scene: a father, his face etched with reverence, carefully opens a weathered wooden chest. He gently unwraps a fragile manuscript, its ancient ink still remarkably vivid after centuries of careful preservation. He turns to his child, his voice imbued with solemnity, and imparts a sacred duty: this is the accumulated wisdom of our ancestors. You must protect it, safeguard it, no matter the cost, no matter the danger. This profound promise, passed down through oral tradition and reinforced by generations of unwavering commitment, was meticulously kept. Each family, each household, became an indispensable link in an unbroken chain of preservation, stretching across vast expanses of time and enduring unimaginable challenges. This decentralized, community-driven effort ensured the survival of an entire intellectual civilization. In more recent times, a remarkable figure emerged: Abdelkader Haidara, himself an inheritor of a substantial family library. He dedicated his life to actively tracking down other hidden collections, embarking on arduous journeys across Mali by traditional boat and camel. With tireless persuasion, he convinced countless families to bring their safeguarded heritage into the light, ensuring its continued protection and eventual study. Thanks to his monumental efforts and the trust he painstakingly built, tens of thousands of manuscripts were meticulously catalogued, documented, and secured. A resilient network of private libraries, operating in quiet defiance, formed a silent but powerful resistance against the encroaching threat of oblivion. Through their collective dedication, Timbuktu's vibrant intellectual heart continued to beat, hidden from the world, yet vibrantly alive. So, what profound insights and forgotten knowledge lie concealed within these ancient, fragile pages? As contemporary scholars meticulously study and translate them today, the revelations are nothing short of astonishing, challenging many preconceived notions about African intellectual history. These manuscripts encompass an encyclopedic range of subjects, demonstrating a breadth of knowledge comparable to any major intellectual center of the era. Astronomers meticulously charted the movements of celestial bodies, accurately recorded solar and lunar eclipses, and even provided detailed descriptions of a significant meteor shower observed in 1593. Physicians documented sophisticated treatments using indigenous desert plants, developing remedies for fevers, intricate wound care, and even early forms of cardiology. Mathematicians engaged with advanced concepts in algebra, geometry, and trigonometry, contributing to the global scientific discourse. Philosophers debated complex ethical dilemmas, explored theories of leadership and governance, and articulated nuanced perspectives on human rights and social justice. And the poets of Timbuktu crafted exquisite verses celebrating love, expressing profound devotion, and capturing the ethereal beauty of the desert night sky. Crucially, many texts were not exclusively written in Arabic but also in various African languages, including Songhai, Tamashek, and Fulfulde, rendered in the adapted Arabic script known as Ajami. This linguistic diversity provides irrefutable evidence of a deep, sophisticated written African tradition that flourished long before the advent of European colonization, challenging colonial narratives of a continent without written history. Each newly translated manuscript unveils a fresh facet of an African renaissance, an intellectual flourishing that thrived in parallel with the great centers of learning in Cairo, Baghdad, and Cordoba. Every translation, every deciphered page, whispers the same undeniable truth. Africa was never devoid of profound knowledge, the world simply had not been listening. Yet, even in the modern era, these invaluable manuscripts continue to face existential peril. The relentless march of time, the harsh desert humidity, and the insidious damage wrought by insects slowly but inexorably consumed their fragile pages. Then, in 2012, the danger escalated dramatically, turning deadly. Extremist groups, affiliated with Al-Qaeda, seized control of Timbuktu, imposing a brutal regime. They declared the city's rich Sufi traditions and its intellectual heritage to be heresy. They systematically destroyed ancient mausoleums with pickaxes, symbols of a syncretic faith they deemed impure. When forced to retreat by advancing forces, these extremists committed a final, devastating act. They set fire to the Ahmed Barber Institute, the city's primary public library and research center. For a terrifying moment, the world believed that centuries of irreplaceable knowledge had been irrevocably lost. But once again, the indomitable spirit of the Guardians prevailed. Led by the courageous Abdelkader Haidar, a network of librarians, scholars, and local citizens launched a clandestine rescue operation of unprecedented scale and bravery. Under the cloak of night, they meticulously packed hundreds of thousands of manuscripts into rice sacks and sturdy metal trunks, loading them onto donkey carts and small, unassuming boats. They then embarked on a perilous 600-mile journey down the Niger River, smuggling the precious cargo to the relative safety of Bamako, Mali's capital. In total, this extraordinary effort saved more than 350,000 manuscripts, an astonishing 90% of Timbuktu's written heritage, representing one of the greatest acts of cultural preservation in modern history. Today, international teams of conservators and scholars work tirelessly alongside Malian experts to restore, preserve, and digitize these invaluable texts. Collaborative projects by Google Arts and Culture and the Hill Museum and Manuscript Library are making this once hidden knowledge accessible to a global audience, democratizing access to African intellectual history. In August 2025, a significant milestone was reached as Mali began the process of repatriating these treasures, with over 200 crates returning to Timbuktu. After centuries of exile and concealment, the profound knowledge of the desert was finally coming home, returning to its rightful place of origin. For over 700 years, the very survival of Timbuktu's profound wisdom depended entirely on the extraordinary courage, foresight, and unwavering dedication of a select few. Now, in this critical juncture, its continued preservation and dissemination depend on all of us, the global community of historians, researchers, and intellectually curious individuals. The monumental work is far from complete. Every single manuscript requires meticulous cleaning, delicate restoration, high-resolution scanning, and rigorous translation. Each page successfully saved from decay and oblivion represents a profound victory for humanity's collective intellectual heritage. By actively engaging with this remarkable story, by studying it, by sharing its profound implications, and by advocating for its continued support, you become an integral part of a venerable lineage of guardians. This lineage stretches back through the centuries, connecting directly to the original scholars of Sankoré and the families who risked everything to protect their legacy. Because, ultimately, protecting knowledge is not merely an academic exercise, it is a fundamental act of safeguarding the very soul of civilization itself. We urge you to explore the digitized collections, support conservation efforts, and champion the ongoing research that continues to unlock Timbuktu's secrets. Hundreds of thousands of these precious manuscripts still remain unread, their profound secrets patiently awaiting discovery. What might they yet teach us? What new scientific principles, forgotten historical narratives, or philosophical insights could they reveal that might fundamentally reshape how we perceive the world and our place within it? The story of Timbuktu is far from concluded. It is an ongoing narrative, a vital bridge connecting the distant past with an unfolding future, linking the vast desert with the global intellectual landscape. These extraordinary manuscripts stand as irrefutable proof that curiosity, wisdom, and resilience are not confined by geography or culture, they are universal human attributes. They demonstrate unequivocally that the radiant light of learning possesses an inherent power to survive and even flourish, even amidst the darkest and most challenging ages. The library was hidden, but its profound wisdom endured. And now, that wisdom is returning, to inspire, to educate, and to enlighten generations yet to come, ensuring that Timbuktu's legacy continues to illuminate the path forward.